Hi brow lover, today I'm going to be showing you how I get my perfect laminated summer brows. First up, I'm taking the Glad Girl makeup removing wipes and I'm just really getting into my hairs here just to make sure that all the makeup and oil is removed so that the product can really seep in and do its job. Next up, I'm just taking our Glad Girl fan with a spoolie and I am just drawing my brows up into place, and this will just help them stay while I'm putting on the lifting lotion. I am now moving on to our first step of the process, which is our fixing glue. Here I am putting this through my brows because I have a more coarse or thick brow hair, but if you or your client has a brow hair that's a bit more thin and easier to work with, you can just completely skip this step altogether and just move on to the lifting lotion. Here you can see I'm just brushing through my hairs with the spoolie, really getting those hairs into perfect place with this glue, and then I will let that dry just a little bit and then move on to our next step. So here you can see what one brow looks like, and then voila, you can see what both brows look like when they are completely done and lifted with just the fixing glue. Next up is step 2. This is the lifting lotion. So this you want to put just directly onto the brows that have already been pushed into place, and you want to make sure that you are putting this from root to end and really saturating all of those hairs. Now this solution is meant for hair and not skin, so at the very end you'll see that I go through with a clean microfiber brush and I just wipe it off of any of my skin. That way it just helps minimize any irritation. And then I also go through with a little spoolie and brush my hairs into place if any of them moved, and then I am just continuing to do that on the other side. Now you're going to let this sit for 3 to 4 minutes if you have a natural, not too thick, not too thin brow, and you can leave it for 5 to 6 minutes if you have a client or yourself that has a more coarse, thick brow hair. And next up, you will see me just using some cellophane cling wrap, and I am just putting that right over my brow hairs. I'm doing this because this just helps speed up the processing time. It keeps that warmth in, and it also keeps your brows from not shifting. So now it's been 4 minutes, I'm taking that cling wrap off and I am using a clean microfiber brush with some water, and I'm just making sure to completely remove all of that solution. And here you can see I'm just really brushing through and then wiping it off on a paper towel. And I am doing that on the other side as well. Make sure that you get a clean microfiber brush every single time. So now this is step 3. Step 3 is the lock lotion. So basically your first solution is the one that's going to really kind of break down those cuticles in the hair and make them really pliable to work with. Now this lock lotion is what's going to rebuild those bonds back into the place that you want them. So the hairs are brushed up, they're very pliable to work with, and now you're locking them into place and rebuilding those bonds. So again, we're just really saturating the brow from root to end, making sure that you don't get it on the skin as much as possible. And again, you can leave it for 3 to 4 minutes like I did, or 5 to 6 if you have more coarse hair. And then again, I'm just removing it the exact same way. I just have a doe foot applicator dipped in some water, and I'm just really making sure that I get all of that solution out of the brow so that I don't have any irritation. And you'll want to make sure that if you're doing this on a client, that you're really, really diligent about getting all of this solution out so that they don't have any discomfort or any irritation at the end of the day. I am now taking our Glad Girl fan again and just drying my brows since I did use water, and I'm just brushing through them to make sure that they are nice and in place, and I just love the look of this soap brow. And then here you can see I am a little bit red. That's just because I've been brushing through it with the spoolie so much, but 5 minutes later, my skin is totally back to normal with no irritation at all. So here you'll see that I chose to pluck my brows afterwards, and I did this for 2 reasons. One is that once you move your brows around and you laminate them, you're going to want to keep some of the brows that you would have probably originally gotten rid of if you were doing this beforehand. And I also did not use wax because your skin skin is going to be a little bit more sensitive after this, so you just want to be careful with it, and I always opt for tweezing. Here's the finished look. Go ahead and give it a try and let us know what you think.